Welcome to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. I am your host, Carmen McLeod, and I want to talk to you about all things spirituality and personal development, because these are the things that light up my soul and have completely changed my life and made me into the person that I am. I want to bring you along my journey through self-discovery as I travel the world and expand my consciousness. So if you're interested in topics such as the mind, the soul, and the universe, and you want to continue to evolve into your soul's purpose and become the best version of you, then you are in the right place. Thank you for being here. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. Don't mind my voice. It is going to sound much different right now in this beginning section than it is going to in the rest of the episode, because I'm actually playing you a very special episode because it's my very first interview. So I had the pleasure of interviewing Sonna, which is a friend that I made on in Cambodia when I stayed on Koh Rong Samloem, and just it was such a pleasure. I think I've spoken about him a few times now on the podcast, but it's so wonderful. I learned lots about meditation from him, and he was able to guide Jay and I through guided meditations, and just a really amazing person. Such an interesting, one of the most interesting people I've ever met, I think. And I think everything that he says, I'm just so intrigued and so interested. And he's just got quite the story to tell. And yeah, so we go on for a while today in this episode, because I knew I was just going to, let him speak, because he really is a channel for the divine. And so I was just, re-listening to this episode. It's now, it's been a few weeks since I filmed this or recorded this episode with him, but it's now being released, and I'm super excited because this is definitely going to be this would definitely be the most juicy episode I have so far. And I'm really excited for you to get to hear it. So I think it's hilarious how my voice sounds. It honestly sounds different in almost every episode now, I feel like, because of different reasons. But right now, and my last episode, I've had my voice has been a little bit on the rough side because of the amount I've been talking and partying in Vietnam. Oh my goodness. Just lots of strain on my voice. But it's funny because in this interview is just when I was in a very zen 10 days, but also when I find that my voice changes when I talk to people who are in different, depending on the age of the person or who it is, my voice totally changes. So Sonna is 40 years older than me. And so I talk in a higher pitched voice, and that's just what I do when I speak to any adult who I feel like I'm younger. I feel like my voice totally changes. That's really, really funny and really interesting. I've always been like this. Anyways, just a funny observation. But I think you're gonna love this episode and learn a lot about meditation, chakra healing, and a million other things. But these are the kind of two major things that we dive into. And but overall, this is about meditation, and Sonna is able to give his really powerful story and how he got into meditation and what it's done for his life. And it's such an inspirational story. And there will be a part 2 to this at some point, hopefully in the near future. When Sonna is ready, he's going to send a guided meditation over to me, which he is so generously going to allow us to listen to on my podcast. So I will have it as an episode, and then you can go back to it whenever you'd like, and have him guide you through the meditation. And it's going to be I think 1 or 2, and it's going to be the meditations that we did together. And I can tell you it is so powerful. So I cannot wait to share this with you. And for now, just enjoy the knowledge you hear about meditation. And, we get into Buddhism and, talking about monks, because he used to be a monk. And anyways, I'll just let you listen. And thanks for being here. And I hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. With me today, I have Sonna. And Sonna, I'm going to get you to say your full name because I don't even want to botch your last name. But
It's Sonna Aronaran.
Aronaran, Sonna Aronaran.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining me today.
Okay. Do you want to know the translation for it?
Please, yeah, tell us about your name.
The translation, it's an Irish Celtic name, and it actually translates into happy loner or happy recluse.
Happy Loner?
Yeah, happy loner.
I love that. And can you tell us about your first name? Because you actually named yourself, didn't you?
Sony, yeah. It was an interesting time. I've always had problems with my birth names. Sort of psychological problems, not being able to connect with them, not understanding them. And there was a reason behind this, and I found this out in my 40s. So I chased them around then, but didn't really work. But I was in Ireland about 3 years ago in a very secluded cottage that someone had lent me for 2 months. And did meditation there. And I was actually, without knowing, I was in a place that, like, in the middle of a place where 10 miles one way, my birth father's family had come from, and 10 miles the other way, my mother's family had come from, without even knowing. I didn't meet my father. So in meditation there, I just decided to change my name, and the names came to me. Sonna came, and I thought, okay, Sonna, happy. I'm generally always happy. And Lona came, and I did look at that and saw Lona, and I thought, well, Lona is because I'm happy with myself. Doesn't mean I'm not a recluse. I love being with people. I love community. But I thought, actually, that reflects myself. I'm happy within myself. So I decided then, and it's been a 2-year process, maybe 3-year process. And it's literally, I done it officially January this year. I changed my depot. And then it was in May, I got my passport. So I done it on my passport. So this is my first proper traveling experience of sewing it around a van. So he's kicking in good style.
That's amazing. And remind me, what was your name before?
My name before was Ozzy. Kenny.
Ozzy,
Callan.
yeah.
Yeah, Ozzy. Yeah, it was Ozzy.
Mm-hmm,
And before that, it was Kenny. But there was
yeah.
lots of, especially with the Kenny, there was a lot of, and if you research on this, you can have a lot of psychological sort of problems as you grow up if that name doesn't suit. So Kenny was definitely not right for me. And I chose Ozzy, my second name, after an uncle who died before I was born. But these names come from people I didn't know. I didn't have no association with. So it just seemed at the time ready to change it.
That's so cool that it came to you in a meditation. I absolutely love that.
And in an isolation as well. I was actually in a very isolated place, sort of in, but not lonely in this place. It was actually not lonely. And I've experienced loneliness. I know what loneliness is about, how it can create depression and everything. But in this particular cottage in Ireland, in Sligo, I definitely wasn't lonely.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, okay, well, everyone, yes. So Sonna and I met on Koh Rong Samloem, and we spent some time together, and he came and connected with Jay, and he can tell you the story of how he got connected onto that island, but we actually met him the day that he arrived, and it was beautifully synchronistic the way that this all panned out, and what has transpired since then is just absolutely amazing. I can't wait for you to hear his story, and I am beyond grateful to have met him. I wanted to meet somebody to, I've been wanting throughout this journey to meet more people who know lots about meditation and who could guide me through it. So I was super excited to meet him and to learn from him. And I actually was lucky enough to do 2 guided meditations with him. And so Jay and I were guided through some meditations, and they were wonderful. One of them went on for 2.5 hours. We got lost in there for a while. And yeah, that was so wonderful. So anyway, so yeah, Sona's going to talk a bit today about his journey through meditation, what it's done for his life, and we'll just see how things unfold with this conversation. So Sona, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into meditation and spirituality?
Yeah. Well, basically, it's been a 20-year journey. I'm 60 now, so it started when I was 40. And back then, in my when I was 39, I was very much into business, very much into entrepreneurialism, had no connection with any form of religion or spirituality, didn't even know. And then a particular thing happened in the business I was running, where I was sort of I was swindled. Basically, I got into a bad company, and it went wrong, and I lost everything. I went bankrupt. And prior to this, one night I was working in a shopping centre promoting a bank card. I was doing promotions and marketing, and I'd gone into a bookshop. I was a bit lost. I knew things were going wrong. I thought, like, and this was Christmas. I had people to pay. I wasn't being paid. I went to a bookshop called Works, and I just seen two books. One was The Life of the Buddha, and one was I Ching. And I picked them up and I looked at them. I quite liked the pictures on them, and I thought, I'm going to get them. Skip through the Buddha. Took them home that night. Looked through the one, The Life of the Buddha, and I thought, oh, this resonates. Didn't have to understand about I Ching, which is transformation. And I just closed and put them away. Consequently, over the next few weeks, I basically had this, through the business, I had this mental breakdown. Started to lose everything. Went on Prozac, and I became quite destructive with myself, and it led to a suicide attempt in January. It was my 40th birthday in January as well, January the 18th, and had a suicide attempt. It was in that point of, like, I was living by the sea in Liverpool by the Mersey, and I was at a point of walking in, and it was 2:00 in the morning. That was teeming down with rain. I remember very, very clearly. I thought, I can just walk in there and you would know. And something pulled me back, and I came back, and I came back home. I remember being dripping wet, sitting down, and all of a sudden I looked down, and there's the book, The Life of Buddha. And just previous to this, I'd been obviously on the Prozac. I'd been doing drugs, I'd been doing drink. One minute I was like high as a kite, the next minute I was like down low, hence led to suicide. So I started reading this book on the Buddha. I didn't even know the Buddha came from India, to be honest. I didn't have a clue, and I was fascinated by the whole thing on materialism and permanence. And obviously, when I started reading about meditation, I thought, that's what I need. I need to go and learn meditation. Right, so when you think, this is like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning now, and the first thing, we used to have these old things called telephone books that a lot of people won't. And we had 2 telephone books there, so got the telephone book out and we just looked for meditation. And there in Liverpool, which is across the water about like 10 miles away, about 5 miles away, they had a meditation centre in Liverpool city centre. So the next morning, after I went to bed, then slept, woke up the next morning, first thing I done was phone up this meditation centre. Guy answered, and he just by chance had a 5-week course starting the following week. So I said, right, I really want to book on this. I remember, I think it was £50, and we just used checks then. And I said, right, I'm coming over now. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. He said, oh, you don't have to come now. I said, no, I want to come now. I want to pay for it. I really want my place on this course. He's like, oh, you can come next week, when we're open. Just said, no, where are you? So he explained very well. So drove over there, paid the check for the £50, and that's where it all started. And that was with the Friends of the Western Buddhist Order in Liverpool. So I started, I remember going to my first class. I didn't have a clue. Just about 6 of us there, and didn't know what was going on. But literally, we'd done 2 particular meditations. One was a breathing meditation through the nose, where you count to a certain number, then you go back. And the other one was the Metta Bhavana, which we done. Obviously the Metta Bhavana, just to explain briefly, is you have 4 people. One is someone, first one is yourself, right? The second someone is someone you love very close. The third person is someone you don't really know. And the fourth person is someone you've got a problem with. And you have to send all these people equal amounts of love, well-being, and blah, blah, blah. And so we started this, and obviously the first 3 sessions, every time I came to the person that you've got a problem with, it was this person that had caused this big business problem with me that basically sunk me. And I seen her face, and I was basically, no, I can't go there. I had to come up to meditation. I said, sorry, I can't send this person love. I can't send them compassion. I've got, to be honest, I've had really bad dreams of this person, what I'd really like to do to them. And it was on the 4th meditation, sudden, I pictured her face, and I got this amazing amount of compassion arising, because just in 4 weeks I'd learned about compassion. I didn't have a clue what compassion was. And this amazing amount of compassion arose in me, and I just felt so sorry for this woman. I thought, if this is what she has to do to make a living, and I knew she was doing it to someone else. She didn't to other people at all, you know. And then she has to put this front on that she's caring for you and looking after you and everything. And at the end of the meditation, she just come out and said, "I just want to send her a bunch of flowers and thank her." You know, and it was amazing. And it looked like, and it was like, thank her. It says, yeah, because without her doing what she was doing, I wouldn't be here now. So then I started to already see the link. And then we could go a bit deeper, go into past lives. And then within like 4 weeks, I was making the altar, doing this, and they were watching me. And they were like, yeah, definitely. Like I said, I've never had any connection with religion, with spirituality, didn't have a clue. Apart from I'd started getting some Thai massage off a good friend of mine, who was a friend of mine's mother, who was very much into spirituality. And, you know, and they said then straight away, you've done all this before, past life. And I was like, past what? What's that? So my progression started very, very quickly then. And I became a strict Buddhist, vegetarian, gave the alcohol up, started to do lots of retreats. And that's how I started. And then I started to get into like proper deep meditation very quickly. Yeah, within about 2-3 months.
Wow, what an amazing story. And so were you a monk during any of this time? You were, right?
Well, I always wanted to be a monk. I was with the Friends of the Western Buddhist Order first, and I wanted to ordain with them. And then we had a split, and I have this thing, I come and I go, and I leave Dharma, come back to Dharma, leave Dharma, come back to Dharma. It's just it's a bit of a struggle I've got.
I'm sorry, just to interject, Dharma is like your soul's purpose for anybody who doesn't know what Dharma is.
Yeah. That's the Buddhist term, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I had a break from it, and I'd been to India. My dad had passed away. That's a very interesting story. And I came back, and just after my dad died, I went back to Kerala in India. And it turned out to be a bit of a nightmare situation, but I did meet a guy there who got me back on my Dharma path. He was part of the NKT, the Yukadampas, and that's another organisation in Liverpool. Now they're the actual monks, and they Tibetan monks. So he said, you really, and I knew of this organisation, he said, when you go back, you just really need to go back. And so I connected with the NKT. And once again, bumped straight in there. And became very aligned with them. Within 2 weeks, they gave me the key to the front door. He said, we don't usually do this. He said, but, you know, we recognise there's something about you. And here's a key, let yourself in anytime you want, help yourself to what you want. It was a community house. So very much back with them. And all of a sudden, I had this thing to become a monk again. You know, I want to become a monk. But my mum got ill. So I ended up being a carer for my mum. And in that time, I found a retreat centre in Thailand and stuff was going on. But I became a one-to-one carer for my mum for 2 years. And then she passed away. And I then moved to Thailand. And I ended up joining an organisation called the Dhammakayas in Bangkok. Quite an infamous organisation of Buddhists. Anyone wants to Google them, just Google them, Dhammakayas. So I became part of them, and that's where I actually became a monk in January 2010. And I was part of one of the biggest organizations in history. There's 10,000, 100,000 of us ordained throughout Thailand. It was a massive, once again, you can Google all this, it was a massive operation. Oh, there's a big massive gecko running up my wall. I said, I've got to interrupt. He's there. I've been waiting for his cut. And he's like I was looking at me. I've been waiting to see synchronicity. And he's this beautiful guy. Hello, Mr. Gecko. How are you? Oh, he's come out. He's
You know what's hilarious? I literally saw a gecko in my bathroom this morning, exactly the same size that you're showing me right now.
That's
exactly the same size.
It's amazing synchronicity. Yeah.
I know. I was like, hey, mister. Like, I was like, hey, you're the one that's been shitting all over my room.
Don't get in my bed. Yeah. Mine's got a funny voice, but that's brilliant. That's amazing. That's an amazing sign. That's a moment that the geckos come.
Can you explain? Can you explain why is that a synchronicity for you? Were you like?
Well, I have a sort of connection with geckos. I love geckos, and that's why I live in these type of places. The first thing I've done is that I've got a gecko, you know. So I've heard him, and he goes and he comes back and he disappears. I've got a lovely one. outside, and he doesn't say gecko, he says cocoa. One says cocoa. Yeah, cocoa. I thought, where's he got the cocoa from? So just seeing him there, run up the wall, and he's listening. He's sitting there. He's heard the word Dharma, you see.
Yeah.
So he heard us talking about Dharma. So he's come out. He's gone like, oh, they're into it.
I love that.
So it's the energy, because the energy is flowing in the room. So he feels totally safe. He's not got a problem. So he'll probably stay there and listen to the whole thing. Yeah.
Wow, we're going to change his life today. That's for sure.
Maybe he's been the monk in a past life.
Yeah, maybe that's.
So let's get back to where were we?
Yeah.
So anyway, I ordained as a monk. And one of the first things I learned, and I thought, this is why I've never been able to ordain before, is because we were a strict Theravada order. Yeah, so we had strict precepts to follow. Yeah, and they were very strict. And one of them was we could not be touched by females. And I thought, no way would my mother have allowed that. She would have pulled me off the podium by the robe, give me a slap and said, don't you dare say I can't touch you. If you knew the pain I went through to give you birth, and then you'll say to me, I can't touch you. So that's why I couldn't become a monk with my mum.
Wow.
Yeah, because it would have been that separation. And I totally got it then. Yeah. But yeah, I ordained. I ordained for initially 6 months. But then I had to disrobe. Also had a little bit of a problem with the robes as well. I had to go back to business, then that failed. Then I did robe again. I ordained again about 2 years later for a short period. But then I realized within that ordination, I put the robes on, it really wasn't meant for me. I got to I was meant to be for 3 months, and I got to about 10 weeks. And I was like, please, can you take these off? I thought, this has been done before. It's not me. I can't follow this order because I'm basically a universal person. And even by no disrespect to anyone who's a monk, but you're a Buddhist or you're a Christian or you're a Jew. And I even gave a talk one day as a monk, and I actually quite astounded the people that were listening, because we used to give talks to people. And someone just said, oh, so how long are you a Buddhist? You've been a Buddhist? And I went, I'm not a Buddhist. And I went like, and they all looked and went like, yeah, but you got robes on. And I went, no. I said, basically, if I was a Buddhist, that means I couldn't be a Christian, I couldn't be a Jew. I said, so I'm universal. And they got it. I said, this is an experience. I said, it's an experience from a past life. To relive it, feel it in this life, and then I'll be able to let it go. So,
wow.
So the robes came off. But I always do see myself with the robe on. But it's probably a green one. It's probably a Celtic sort of green robe that goes back to my ancestry, Celts, because I realised that's where my true DNA comes from.
Yeah. So you were were you identifying with all of those religions at the same time, or you just wanted to be open to the possibility of those religions being what, because you said that you weren't Buddhist because if you were a Buddhist you couldn't be Christian or other religions, so were you identifying with all of these religions, or like none of them, or you just wanted to be open to all of them?
Identifying with none of them and just bring myself more to a universal being.
That's quite similar to how I've been feeling lately as well. Coming to this trip, I wanted to be open to all religions and not be identifying under one, because I want to learn all and see what resonates.
So I'm more identified with more with shamanism now. It's more shamanism with the planet, with Gaia, with the universe. Because it was interesting as a monk, I realized I had so many limitations on me. One, I couldn't talk about chakras. I didn't talk about that. We couldn't really talk about other religions. And there was this whole conversion going on, and they loved to compare to Christian, they loved to compare to Jew. It was the same thing as any other religion. So I was in that box. So, so hence when been at Damkaya, that to be a little bit of a troublesome place. I've been there for over 4 years. And when I left, I basically just completely wouldn't have nothing to do with any form of Dharma. I stripped I wouldn't have a Buddhist book or anything. But lucky enough, recently that started to come back to me a little bit. but I see the Dharma as nature Dharma. Basically, that goes now around a tree. As you know,
Sorry,
tattoo
can
a
you
tree.
say the tree thing again? There's a little bit of background noise. I couldn't hear you.
I sort of associate more now with the tree. So I'll
Oh,
associate with the tree of life.
yeah.
So yeah, nature, flowers, animals like gecko, come up the wall. So he came out. So that's what I would have put.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, and yeah, when you said you identify with shamanism, do you want to just give a short like explanation on what you know about shamanism and what you resonate with on that, in case anybody doesn't know what that is?
Well, shamanism is basically a connection with the earth. It's that you more work with nature, work with the spirit of nature. And that's the natural way for me to be. Like when I initially moved to Thailand, I was very, very lucky. I had a small retreat center up in mountains of behind Chiang Mai, between Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai. And it was a hill tribe village with the Lahu. And I was very lucky. I've always been into gardens, been into nature anyway. So I've got this natural thing with it, creating gardens, creating spaces. And there's the last of the shamans in the village, and it was a lady called Nabu, and she took me under her wing and started to teach me. And she put something on me, and so working within this village. Unfortunately, she passed away, and at the time she was teaching me. But I've got beautiful pictures of her, and that had an impact because she used all the old medicines and everything. I haven't truly gone into it properly where I need to go, but I just believe that's my path. Like hence now here, I'm starting gardens, and that's where I'm really happy. At Beach Hut, I'm going to start a garden here. Jay's place has got a garden. The lady next door, but one, she's already got a garden. So I might start guerrilla gardening in the village. You know what guerrilla gardening is?
No, what is the
guerrilla gardening?
Guerrilla gardening? No, I
Guerrilla
don't know.
gardening. Yeah, guerrilla gardening is what you do in the night or very early in the morning. You go and create a beautiful garden somewhere. So I might start that in the village. That's shamanism. So you go there and you create this garden. Yeah, just like in a little place. Yeah, could be with
That's
pots,
awesome.
could be with anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we have tons of those in Vancouver, I
Yeah,
think.
Vancouver. Yeah. Well,
Tons
we
of
have a
those
lot
little.
like yeah. We have so it's called guerrilla garden. So all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and think, where did that come from? Yeah, someone's created this like little garden. Yeah, and it could be like
That's
edible fruits and stuff like that. So I've got an idea. That might be going on here soon.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
so shamanism is just it's just a natural part of me, like Reiki. Reiki is part of shamanism. So it's working with the energies.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit more about Reiki? I've always wanted to learn more about Reiki. I've heard lots about it in the spiritual community, and I haven't learned about it yet. So, do you want to share anything about
Yeah,
Reiki, about what that really is and how you do it? And
it's interesting because over the last couple of years through the pandemic, I've seen I've talked to Jay about this and other people. I said, like, where have all the healers gone? It seems like all healers have disappeared. And this was basically talked about a lot before, but since the pandemic, it seems like everyone sort of disappeared. Like even Jay has had no contact with his old meditation teachers, his yoga teachers. But Reiki is something I got into when I first went on the path 20 years ago, and I said I'd started meditation. I'd had some Thai massage of a friend of mine, and all of a sudden I got this I thought I want to get into Thai massage. And after going bankrupt and everything, I went to work in a little garden centre. It was the classic story from like suits and boots to a beautiful Lancia, royal blue, silver leather, upholstered car that was up the door. I went from that to going on a bike, doing a 3-mile bike ride across the seafront in Wallasey to work in a garden centre for £7 an hour. Classic story. But within that year, I managed to save up enough money to go to, in the following January, which was just January after, to go to Thailand for months. I saved like about £1,000 from this little meager job. And that's where I first done my first Thai massage course in Koh Phangan, in Hadrin. Yes. So I went there. And when I got there, I started the course. I was getting along with that. And the lady, it was run by a guy called Jan, who is Thai, and his wife was called Ella, and she was from England. And she says, "Oh, I've just started this thing called Reiki." Now, this is 20 years ago. And I just started this thing, Reiki. She said, I've just got my first certificate I can teach, She said, "Would you like to be my student?" And I went, "What is it?" And she went, "Oh, well, it's about this energy transference and something happening. And I just work through your chakras and blah, 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 blah." I said, "Oh, yeah, go on, I'll have a go." Yeah. So not knowing what it was. So I got my first Reiki initiation as I was doing the massage course. And it was so powerful. It was unbelievable. Afterwards, like, you go through a healing, sort of healing trauma process, crisis. I went through all of that, and I couldn't just do the course. I just, like, everything just went to pot. So energies. But then all of a sudden, I started to really understand it, and I could actually work on people. And I was like, how does this energy work? And you could see energy. And I started with animals. Animals love it. As you see with Gypsy. The first thing she does, Gypsy comes in because she loves Reiki, so they can sense straight away. So notice that day she came to me and she wanted working on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Gypsy is Jay's dog, for those listening.
Yeah, Gypsy, Jay's dog.
Yeah.
That's the one that I'm looking after.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
I got initiated Reiki, and it's basically it's just energy work. But back then it was quite sacred, and you had to sort of, obviously, you didn't drink with it, you became vegetarian with it. So that was all good with me at the time because that's where it was, so it worked. But unfortunately, I think 10 years it's become very, very polluted. The people that are used, the people working in it. But definitely anyone who's listening, just look up the history of Reiki and go back to the Japanese guy who originally brought it about. But it's always been there. It's nothing new, not a new concept. Energy work has always been there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, like, the chakra, because I definitely have been getting into the chakra work lately, and so that falls under Reiki, correct?
Yeah. Because that's where I work. I work Reiki with the chakra, which hence I'm starting again soon. I'm starting to actually work again soon. So I'm going to be doing chakra Reiki workshops.
Yeah.
Yeah, healing.
Wonderful. Yeah. So speaking of chakras, I'd love for you to talk about your tattoo that you're planning to get from Jay. I'd love to hear about, what the tattoo, the meaning, and like the reason you're getting it and how you guys are planning to do the tattoo. But first, do you want to talk about how you came to meet us, and then that is through the tattoo, however you want to go about the story. But I love to hear about how you how we actually, because I don't know if we ever got to how we met or how you met Jay. I met you through Jay, but just the story of how you ended up getting to the island, and then that led to the tattoo, which led to so much. So let's get on to that story. I'd love for you to tell the audience.
Pure synchronicity, a true spiritual path. I've been working back in England. I went to university at 57, which is a very weird thing to do. Discovered within the first 6 months I've got ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia. Learned since then. Got a little bit of autistic tendencies as well. I'm on the spectrum a little bit. So that answered a lot of questions about how my life's been and stuff like that. But just finished 4 years of university. Didn't graduate. Had a problem in the last year. But this year I was working in a care home, looking after people with learning difficulties. That's sort of totally disconnected from the spiritual path. But somehow, in January, I booked this 4-month trip and decided I was going on this 4-month trip. You can imagine the pressure of university, pressure of COVID, working in a care home, took its toll. So when I actually started this trip, I didn't even know why I was coming. The whole idea of what I was coming for disappeared. I remember sitting on the bus, Plymouth bus station, going to Heathrow Airport, and thought, what am I doing? What are you doing? You're 60 years of age, you've packed everything up, and you're taking off on this 4-month crazy trip to Asia. Apparently, I thought I was going to do a vlogging platform to get over 55s to backpack. That was the original thing. So I did invest in a very expensive Z1 camera, with the stand and everything, tripods and everything. But when I didn't know what I was doing, I initially went to Vietnam for a month. I was totally lost there. I was actually quite ill. I had a lot of inflammation. I did at one point think I had fibromyalgia. I thought there was something serious going on. I did think I had a cancer. Had a lot of difficulty walking. Stayed in a beautiful hotel, could only swim 2 lengths of the pool. But I rested there, and once again, I made a connection with Dharma, met an amazing monk. The lady that run the resort, who owned the resort, was very much into Dharma. So I got my connection with Dharma again. That was very important. Stayed 3 weeks there, but then decided to come to Cambodia. My visa was up, and I was meant to do a visa run. Didn't work out. I couldn't do this visa run. All the seats were taken, so I had to leave and come into Cambodia. Done Ho Chi Minh City for 3-4 days. Done Phnom Penh for 3-4 days. Was going to go on to Siem Reap for 7 days. And as I'm going to book the ticket for Siem Reap, I went, no. I said, I can't do another inland city town. I need to get to the sea. I need to go to an island. It was always the plan to come to Koh Rong, or Koh Rong Samloem, where I am now. So as I'm going to do the Siem Reap ticket, I went, no, I said, when's the bus to Koh Rong Samloem? She said, blah, 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 time. She said, right, got that one. So got the bus from Phnom Penh to Sihanoukville, and I came over, and I was on the ferry, and we pulled into one little deserted beach. I thought, no, that's too quiet, nothing going on. We actually pulled into Koh Rong, and I looked and thought, oh, and he said, I thought, did you say this is Koh Rong? He went, yeah, Koh Rong. And I'd already said I'm going to my Pei Bay. And he said, this is not for you, your stop's my Pei Bay. I said, oh, and I was looking, I thought, this looks quite nice. It's just like Koh Rong, it's just a little cluster of houses, and it's a beautiful long white beach, not quite deserted. And I thought, oh, I'm going to get off here. And I was like, sort of went to move, couldn't move. And I thought, shouldn't I? And as I went to get off, I went like, next thing the boat went. And I said, there's my Pei Bay next. And he went, I don't understand English, this guy. So we came round and we pulled into my Pei Bay. And as we're driving up, and I'm used to always going to Koh Phangan, and I love coming into Koh Phangan, and it's just lovely to see. But it was raining, it was miserable. The skies were grey, there was a wind blowing. And to be honest, if you've seen pictures of my Pei Bay, it doesn't look very attractive, and it doesn't look very inviting due to COVID. It's been decimated. So,
and just to clarify, my Pei Bay is where Jay lives, and yes, it is where Jay lives. It's where we all met. Yeah. So just to clarify, continue.
So I'm on the boat, and then I thought, oh, maybe I should ask him, can you take me back to Koh Rong? Because I just looked. And the next thing I found myself getting off the boat, and there's this couple there, and they were speaking English. They had this like sort of buggy thing, and I had a little boat there, and I said to them, do you know anywhere we can get like accommodation? And he said, yeah, go over there. It's a big beach hut just down the bay. So I said, okay. So I walked up to Jesse, and more I'm looking, I'm thinking, what am I doing here? What is this? And then it's sort of like this got like this sort of very calm, relaxed energy came to me. He said, just wait. So I walked along, and from the beach you can't see beach hut because it's got palm trees around it. Came in, and there's this couple sitting there. Straight away recognised. So I said, you got any accommodation? They're from Bristol, England. I said straight away, Jack and Chloe. So straight away we sit down, a few beers, get talking, and I said, like, and straight away they said, how long are you gonna be? I said, oh, I don't know, maybe a long time. So straight away I said like, well, maybe a long time. I said, I've got 3 months left. So we talked about the rooms and blah, 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 blah. And he said, tonight the 2 ducks is on. He said, we'll take you there. And they explained what the situation was on the island. Basically, it has been devastated by COVID. But what the business did.
Sorry, devastated by what?
COVID.
Thank you.
COVID, yeah, sorry, by COVID. So it's had a major impact on this little bay. A lot of businesses closed. But they said, and what attracted me when I did initially look on this Facebook for the island, and it had community, and I thought, rather than being a tourist place like Saracen Bay, I thought I want to be with a little community. And they said, what happens here is each night, each little bar would open, and we all gravitate to that bar to make sure that bar gets business and it's supported. And then the next night we move on to another one. They said, we have one closed night. And I said, I really like that. So that night they took me to the 2 ducks. And straight away, I was integrated into this beautiful little community, met a lot of people, only a few of the people. And of course, I started talking about, Chloe said to me, and our tattooist is back. Well, this tattoo has been like basically since Ireland, 3 years in the planning. I decided in Ireland I was going to get this tattoo. Yeah. And I said, actually, I really need a tattoo doing, and straight away I got talked to Jay. And I think myself, Jay came and talked to me, went back to you, explained what I wanted. And he said straight away, when I learned, we connected straight away. I said, you're the guy to do my tattoo. Yeah. Do you want me to explain what the tattoo is?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, the tattoo is basically, I've already got my chakras done on my back. I had them done about 18 years ago. Yeah, I've had them recolored once, so they're already there. But what I want now is I've got one of my projects is called the Wisdom Tree, and it's called the Elders. Yeah. So I want a tattoo of roots, a rooted tree, with an intertwining, and it's important. It's like I've got intertwining an oak tree and a Bodhi tree. So they intertwine the spine and then across the shoulders, both branch out, and it's the Bodhi tree and the oak tree leaves intertwining across my back with my chakras put back on. And Jay just showed me the picture yesterday, and it looks fantastic. Yeah, so Jay's going to do it. So
That's amazing.
It's a bit like we talked about before about this tattoo is definitely a spiritual process, and the fact that's happening there now, that's like talk about synchronicity. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he told me something around that when he tattoos it on you, is it that you guys are going to do it in a form of a meditation? Is that correct? Like you're going to be doing the and like chanting the ums and
reciting a mantra. Yeah, to be some sort of mantra there within it, and each time we do it, obviously it'll be done meditatively. So it's going to be a beautiful experience. That'll be a really good one to actually for into video. Yeah. Of that experience.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I love the synchronicity of how you came into the island, and just like I've been telling your story to so many people, and just it's so wonderful. I love these kind of synchronicities have been going on for me like my entire trip as well. And like when I think that yeah, exactly. Like when you really I think that when you open yourself up to spirituality and you actually like, when you believe in this really divine frequency that goes on around you, like that's when all of these things start to line up, and you're like, whoa, okay, I can totally see how I got here, and it's 100% through divine, to something divine making it happen. Like, and it's so wonderful to see, and it's been wonderful to watch. I've just been watching kind of you and Jay and the relationship kind of just completely unfold so quickly. So yeah, I'd love for you to continue talking about how you and Jay keep talking about what has transpired through that.
What's happened in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, go
it's
for
amazing.
it.
So I get to the island once again. I'm still quite stiff, and I think literally within a week I am swimming around. I swim to Jay's now around the bay. I don't walk. I actually swim around the pier to go and visit him. Don't forget, in Vietnam, I told you I could only do 2-3 legs of that pool, and I was knackered. Since being here in literally 2 weeks, all the pain is gone, all the swelling is gone. I'm walking, doing yoga. I actually sat in sort of half lotus last night in meditation because I've had that problem with my knee and everything, and I've recognised that was to do with my yin and yang, with the feminine and the masculine. I've worked all that out in meditation. So back to my knee's gone back to normal. Lost a load of weight, just feeling healthy, feeling vibrant, eating good food, really getting back into, like I say within the meditation, you don't need to learn what you already know. So everything over the last 20 years is just coming back. Like even, purifying my water, working with that, eating healthy foods, gone more back to being vegetarian again. So I'm amazed at myself what's happened in the last 2 weeks, to be honest. Definitely staying, this is the place I need to be, not back in England. If I'm going to do something and it is a lot to do with environment. Once again, any of you guys listening, if you Google a guy called Bruce Lipton, biology of belief, and he explains about genes and environment. And what I've really realized is this environment here, islands, tropical, really makes me healthy. And at the moment, a lot of people come to this island would really be challenged, because you've seen it, Carmen. It is quite challenging. I actually see beauty everywhere. To me, it's a paradise, and that's because the energy around is a paradise. And also, it's just starting to work already. Like I said, we've got gardens going on. Got the garden here, beach hut to do. Jay's garden, the lady next door but one, she's doing her garden. So we've already got these gardens starting to come together. Yeah, and that's the shamanism. Yeah. So this magic is really happening. And this is really what we need to start to instigate now. Like my project with the elders. Do you want to hear a little bit about that?
Please, yeah.
Well, originally, like, it was just about people backpacking, but the elders, I realize now, I'm 60, and I've realized when like, you know, I've looked at age, mature people know we're elders. Over 55 to become an elder. And I believe that we're changing. We get challenges from the age of 50 to 55. So to 50, we have that last spit, try to be young. 55, we try it again. Then at 60, most of us realize, yeah, and we start looking forward and thinking, uh-oh, we're at the top of the hill and the hill goes down. But to me, no, it doesn't. The hill goes back up. So what I'm looking to do is get people to connect and elders to sort of realize it's never too late. We can change. We can make better lives. You know, the past happened. We're in the now. It's all about longevity I'm working with. But the most important thing is connecting with you young people, because we've got the wisdom, we've got the experience and what we need to do. And I think this is what's being lost now, is, or being covered, because we're all being distracted, is we that connection is being sort of widened. And we need to get back into that and start working like I'm doing with you now, doing with Jay, working with you young people and saying, look, this is your future. This is your responsibility. It's our responsibility to come and help you and guide you along the way. Yeah.
And
I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah. And what a wonderful role model you are. I've learned so much from you already, and such a wonderful thing.
Oh, I'm giving talks downstairs. There's a couple downstairs at the moment, and you know, their mum's going through some stuff, and I'm already just giving it. It's like it's flowing. And one of my biggest problems used to be articulation, and it's just like it comes out. I think, oh, where did that come from?
It comes from the universe. It's definitely
the universe.
Think
it's the universe. Yeah, it's a channel. Yeah, it's definitely you. You do become a channel. Like at the moment, like I've been doing a lot of astro in the evening, and what that is, when you do astro traveling, basically in your sleep you go to bed with an intention and you're on a spiritual journey, and you go off somewhere, and you wake up in the morning and you've had a really deep sleep, and you got all these ideas, and then you think, oh God, that's cool. Like this morning, it's just like my whole healing plan came out, and then all of a sudden you go, boom, I'm so tired, because you've been talking, you've been in another realm. And you know, just to let you know, people think it's all wishy-washy stuff. If you go into quantum physics and you look at the science, this has all been now proven more and more scientifically. There's a lot more to what we are. And I follow like, it's like the Netflix of spiritualism, Gaia. Yeah, you need to put the link to that. It's my best investment I've done in a long, long time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've talked about Gaia on here as well. Yeah, but I should link it. I never linked it last time.
Yeah, definitely link Gaia. And once again, just listening to that, like, it's stuff I've known, stuff I've been, and I just like connect into it. And I'm just like picking so much up from there. I'm like, yeah, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. And that is, there's a few odd things on it. I've had a couple of friends went, oh yeah, that. I said, no, you've got to bypass that. You'll create the block. And I said, you just have to. I have this amazing thing with the internet. It always brings me something, like that music we use in the meditations just came from the internet. And we always have to remember the internet is an integral part of the next stage of evolution, the age of Aquarius. Technology is a major part of it. So it's got a dark side, it's got a light side. So, and that's basically things like Gaia. I get so much information just by opening up the internet and something comes up and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I love Gaia. I have that's actually the first thing that I looked at on there was astral travel, and that is there's some really interesting stuff on there. Like I've been reading or watching a lot of stuff on consciousness, astral travel, dreams, that kind of stuff.
Watch the water. Watch the water one, the latest one about water.
The water one. Okay.
Water theory. Yeah, that's amazing.
I'll write it down.
Yeah, the whole now science behind water, and they realize water is basically has memory. It's living. It's exactly the same as us. It's got the whole, spiritual, and we can kill water, which I found really sad.
Mm.
We never said we can kill water, but I'm in the process also. But we can anyone can get to the point of death, and we can bring them back. It's exactly the same with water. You think water's dead, but what I'm doing using disco, Donna Summer, Barry White. And my water tastes well. I'm like, that tastes really good. Yeah, it tastes sweet. That's the sweet sound of soul. So I'm using disco, so you don't have to use sort of Chopin and all that, because in the disco I use it's got symphony, Donna Summer, Barry White. They use the symphony, and I just constantly repeat the word love. Donna Summer looks lovely, baby. Yeah, into the water. So the crystals in that. Probably bounce some, and the disco crystals.
So like what you're saying, you have the crystals and you're putting basically like music into your water that has the words of love, and because
basically words of love. Proven it. Dr. Emoto wants to know who if you once again, if you Google him and put in biology of water, and he's the guy, Japanese guy. He died last year, unfortunately. A lot of people passed away. And he's the guy who done all the crystals proved that by crystal formulations how we can see how water responds. And it responds to language, which is very, very interesting. It responds to different languages. So whatever love is in each language, it will respond to that word. I love you.
My mom is going to be so happy to be listening to this right now, because I just remembered, and I forgot to tell you this before when you were telling me about this, but she, on some of our glasses, she would write "I love you" on the bottom of the glass. And I don't remember if it was for us drinking the water or if it was to go into the water, because I think she knew about this water, how when you speak into the water, I've definitely heard from many times I've heard this. Speaking a prayer into your water. Speaking a manifestation.
Manifestation.
Definitely. And it's a lot of people will do. It's one of the manifestation.
Even like picking up, giving the bottle a kiss.
I
love you. That is energized. And people find it's all good. But what I love about Gaia, they got the proven science behind it. Even though they talk about alien stuff, it's all scientifically proved, and you can't argue with the science. And the guys on there are very, very educated in what they do. Most of them are scientists that are converted into spirituality. So they've come from that world of medicine, science, and they've opened up. And, just get onto Gaia. I binge it. It's my Netflix now. Don't go near Netflix.
Same. I was just talking. So my last episode was on manifestation, and I was talking about how, basically like your thoughts become your reality, or but also like who you hang out with, what you watch on TV, stuff like that. It's all going in, and it's all a part of the manifestation process. So what you're watching is what your brain is seeing. Your brain doesn't understand what's real, what's not. So so through what you're watching totally affects what you're attracting into your life. And so that also, I think that's why I talked about Gaia, from what I remember, is like that I totally switched out Netflix with Gaia, because I want to be watching things that are actually one, teaching me something, and two, the energy of these things that I'm watching is phenomenal. So it's wonderful.
Netflix is like anything. It becomes it's an addictive process, and that's the whole thing about it. So you become addicted. My addiction at the moment is Oreos, so I'm okay with that.
Me too.
Oreos, I'm addicted. Got the back then, I thought you're addicted. I've got addiction to Oreos at the moment, so that's
Same. It's so funny
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I never liked Oreos growing up, and not until I started traveling. And all of a sudden, like, I don't know, I just saw someone eat Oreos and I saw it on a
Comfort
TV
food.
show. And I don't know what happened because I never really liked them. And then all of a sudden I'm buying Oreos. I can't even tell you how many packages of Oreos I've bought since traveling.
Yeah.
Like, disgusting amount of Oreos. I have some in the fridge right now.
It's your sugar kick. Yeah. Oreos. And going back to just an important thing, what I should really say is with my reconnection, I've stopped drinking alcohol. And one of the problems I have for ups and downs is alcohol. With alcohol, I disconnect, and that's one of the reasons when you talk about astral travel and everything. Basically, substances and alcohol, to get the best connection, you need to allow to drift away, and just stick with yourself, and that's the big fight. Yeah. So at the moment, I have a couple of beers because once again, I like to go and be with the community, and it is supporting. But I'm finding I don't want to drink now. Like 2 cans, I'm like struggling through the second one. I will force the third one because I thought like it's helping the businesses. It's being someone in the bar, so I'll do that. But basically, when you go on this path, alcohol and substances, you need to just allow to let go and then feel the connection. Yeah. Doesn't mean you can't drink or anything because you still have a night out. But that's one of the reasons with the whole monk thing and Buddhism and religion. It was all like about purity and non-drinking and non-nothing. And I don't like that life. I believe in freedom, doing what you need to do. So and definitely love a party. At the moment, that's just not part of what's going on. But I know I never say never anymore. So that will come back later.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to continue on your story about what's going on, what's transpiring at Jay's place now. So I think where do we leave off? I think that I don't know if you've talked about your plan for the retreat. Do you want to talk about that, how that transpired? Or
well, once again, that's all amazingly came within the last week. I've put a 3-day. I'm not going to really use retreat because of once again the situation. Retreat is like somewhere you go off and you retreat somewhere. It's usually in the jungle or you go to a retreat center. We haven't got that facility here, so what I'm calling it is a 3-day journey into awareness of yourself, of the capabilities of yourself. And it's an awareness into.
And just to interject, this is all birthed from, like, this all kind of came from the tattoo. The tattoo led to and you came up with this through meditating in the water. Am I correct on that? Was it a download that this came in, this idea? Was it?
Which one was this one?
For the not the retreat, but like the meditation. Just tell me what you call it again. Journey through meditation.
I'm calling it a journey.
Yeah.
So rather than saying that it's a 3-day retreat, because we haven't got a facility for the retreat, because we're, as you know yourself, we're quite open to knowledge here and things can happen. So I'm looking at this as an exploration into the self to connect with the higher self. So it's a journey. So it's a 3-day journey where I do 9 sessions, which is like the 9 points. And each day we do 3 sessions, and each session is about each particular point. I think maybe we need to talk about this on the meditation, because
I see. So
when you think I'm talking about the points and we don't really know what the points are.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Just connected.
Yeah. So for those listening, I'm going to do a part 2, and it's going to be less of it'll be more of just Sonna will talk about, he's going to do a guided meditation. So that's what the second episode's going to be. He'll and so before the meditation, we're going to talk about the
9 points.
Yeah, the chakras and the and you're going to explain how the meditation goes, like I've heard before. Okay, great. So you don't have to get into that now if you're going to do that for the next one. But
and also then where the meditation originated from, like I said, like from the temple. Remember I told you it was like a little bit. It was quite confusing, and you couldn't really find out who was doing this meditation, and made it very complicated. So I've sort of over the last 8 years, this one's an 8-year journey.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to I was thinking of doing more of the meditation information on this one, and then more of the meditation itself on the second one, because I like to keep the guided meditations. I think I'd rather have them on a separate episode so that people kind of just go back to it whenever they want to use that meditation without having to listen to all the words before.
Ask me the question then.
So if it works for you, I mean, you
go on.
So but for the next meditation, or for the meditation episode, you can talk about the chakras and the process of it. That's great. But maybe if you could talk about the history of the meditation that you're do you want to talk about it now?
Yeah.
Cool.
So you need to ask me where this particular meditation came from and what is it?
Yeah, so
I need to find this in my book.
Yeah, so and what kind of, is it the 9-point meditation that you're talking about?
It's the 9-point
where it came from?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I developed, and I need to find.
If you don't have notes on it now, we can do another episode. It's no problem. Or I can just link something. I can link 2 videos together too, because I'm not even posting this right away.
Okay. No, it's what type of meditation it is, because it's a. Remember I said it's a transcending meditation.
That's and that's the one. Is that the one with the you send love to the 5 people?
No, that's Metta Bhavana.
Right.
I do a transcendence meditation, and a transcendence is when we go in. There's different types of meditations, and this is transcendence one. So, okay, so you're going to ask me the question, so about the meditation to do.
Okay, so the question would be, what is the history of the 9-point meditation?
Okay.
And what do you know about that? Just tell us whatever you'd like to tell us about.
The 9-point meditation came from when I was in Dhammakaya. I was a very deep meditator there. I was actually running retreat houses for them. I was taking classes for them. I went on a 3-month meditation training. It was more like a boot camp, to be honest. We went up these mountains, went to all these different places, and we were basically shut away from society. And the most important thing about this, I don't know whether you remember when the Japanese tsunami happened. We didn't find out about that till 5 days after it happened. We were that shut away because they were so keeping us like locked into this meditation. So what came out of that, I did find a lot about deep meditation, and I became a meditation guide, meditation teacher for the temple. But one of the meditations I particularly focused on was one, they called it the 7 base meditation. And I started to learn that, but it was very interesting because in the temple, you'd see signs for the 7 way, but no one was practicing it. And I thought, like, why is no one practicing this? And so I've done a little bit digging. I found a monk that taught me it. And then I realized this is actually a very special meditation. Only certain people in this temple learn this meditation because where it goes. And then as soon as I started to learn it, I started to realize the basis what they talked about was chakra points, because I was very much aligned with chakras, and I've done a lot of chakra work, chakra healing. And as soon as I mentioned the word chakra, it was like, no, you can't mention the word chakra. Don't let the habit here you say the word chakra. I said, well, they are chakra points. I was like, told them to. So as I started to develop with it, I started to realize like there was these 7 bases, but one point that was missing. I thought there's no heart in there. They haven't got the heart in there. So I, being a naughty boy, started to introduce sort of an 8th base, which was the heart. And I started to teach this within the classes. I was teaching international people that used to come in. And all of a sudden I was getting these amazing, like, people going to these beautiful deep meditations, and I was connecting. And, we had a little form at the end of the retreat, and it said, how was it? And I was getting like excellence. And then all of a sudden one day the monk came to me and said, oh, you can't teach no more. And I went, why? They said, oh, they used an excuse. I was playing music. I was using music. Because by then I'd found these particular pieces of music I was using with the meditation as well, to also take people deeper. So I stopped from teaching meditation. So then I became a gardener. I went and hid in the garden for many months, but then it was in the garden, once again, shamanism. I used to sit in the garden, and I started to develop this meditation. I thought, this is chakras. This is like certain points. So once I got on the internet, I found out what these points align to. So I started to translate them, you know, because they had a book, and it was very, very complicated. It was something about yolks, oxes. There was like, you know, water buffalo mentioned in it, and it was the arm's length of something. I thought, this is like, to translate this, I said, no wonder no one understands this. It's very complicated. So I started to translate it into more of a Western language form, and then I realized, yeah, this is basically chakra points. But rather than go into using the word chakras, because then once again it's a different science, I just thought, I'm going to stick with points. I'm just going to go to a point of the body, and I sort of got the definition of point. I thought, yeah, just point rather than chakras, so I use points. So then I started to call it the 8-point meditation, you know, and then I started with the energy. I thought, this is fantastic. Yeah. But recently I've added another one. I've called it the 9, because actually there's 9 points. Because the first point to start off with is the aura. I thought that needs to be, you know, Carmen, I think I've told you, I specifically work with the number 3, number 6, and number 9. And to me, the 9 is the end of something, goes to the 1, which is the beginning. So the meditation has now started to grow into, yeah, we get the 9th point, which is the end, and then we go to the 1 again. So we go into something, to the end, and we go to the 1. So these particular meditation points are basically the aura. I work around the eyes. I work in the center of the head. I work in a place called the amygdala, which just is basically at the back of it's that little dip in the back of in the top of your neck. I work in the throat. I work in the heart. And then I do an interesting thing. I go past the solar plexus and go into the sacral, work in the sacral, and then we come up into the solar plexus, which is the center. And what I'm doing within the meditation, I'm bringing basically 3 minds together. I'm bringing the mind of the brain, the mind of the heart, and I'm combining with the mind of the soul. And I combine the 3 minds together and in the center. And this is what the temple didn't let me do. Yeah, so, but since then I've developed it. It's been an up and down journey. But I think now I'm at the point, and it's interesting because it's 10 years since I joined the temple. Exactly that, I'm starting this path again. And I always said back then, I shouldn't have gone to the temple, I should have gone to the islands, should have gone to Koh Rong Samloem, but I went to the temple. Yeah. Wow. So this meditation is definitely in the right place. It's on an island, it's where it's meant to be. Like I said, when you said I haven't practiced for a long time, it's like riding a bike, it just comes so natural.
Yeah,
but that's
and you
the
did
main
such a good
meditation.
job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the main meditation. And as you know, there's a one I used before that, a relaxation one.
Mm-hmm.
So I get people to relax through music.
Yeah.
Into a deep state. Then we do the 9-point. Then there's a third meditation one, again, there's always 3. And the third meditation is the original meditation I learned 20 years ago, was about that lady, the Metta Bhavana. So that is now included, and that's when we had the 2.5-hour session. And you just you went up wherever you went. It's like, I take people, I say, go off and go, yeah, then send love, and that's the shamanistic meditation as well, because that is all about the planet, about making people well, you know. So sending all them wishes, all that love and energy. So there's 3 meditations which have come naturally to me now. Systematic 3.
Yeah, I feel so lucky to have been able to do those with you in person and feel the energy, because the energy at Jay's place is unbelievable in that, especially in that room. His yoga studio / meditation room is just unbelievable. And then the energy of, you know, being with the 2 of you who are such a vibrational people, that was unforgettable. And yeah, so I think I would love to have you do both. And so if you, whichever way you want to do it, like you could do, maybe we'll either do 2 more episodes that have, or you can just do it all in one. 2 more, yeah. So we'll do like one that has the
about a month, and just see how things have come on, and whether the community joined us, because that's the big thing at the moment, getting the community to join us. So it'd be great to see if they start to sort of coming to Jay's place, because Jay's wish, that is really what he's manifested. That place comes to life. And isn't it interesting? He's gone away, so I've got like time to play there and create it. So he's going to be away, and it'll be created. It'll make him so happy, so relaxed. I was so relaxed now because I said I'll look after the place. You can tell his like stress levels again. He's got to pay a lot of money for the flight. His flight's like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Sonna's going to go watch Jay's place while Jay goes back to Montreal for a few months to see family, and so Sonna's going to watch the house, watch the dog, and kind of get things going with their project.
Yes, definitely. So that's what it is. Yeah, developing it into a spiritual center.
Yeah, so I know that you don't have every, like, this is just the very beginning stages. Is there anything else that you want anybody to know about this meditation journey that you're planning with Jay? Is there anything that you want to let them know, or do you want to wait until you have more details to give them about, maybe, because some people may be even interested in coming, right, for one of them, but just to hear, I know you probably don't have exact dates right now, but if you have any more information you want to give around that, about, what is your vision, what is yours and Jay's vision to make Omden?
If you're in the area, if you're around Koh Rong Samloem, definitely pop in. If you want to already participate in the 3-day, we can create it. Basically, there's going to be chakra healing going on. We've got a couple of people that are using it for yoga, but definitely we're ready to sort of start. You can definitely come and do the meditation, even though the 3-day journey is not there yet. That might come a little bit later, because I think that, to be honest, will take more people, because that's the interjection of Jay coming back. We've got to look at food. We've got to look at like where people are going to stay and everything. But definitely in the area, pop in and experience the meditations. It won't be a structured course, but I can do like the information we're talking about now and give you some meditation techniques. Yeah,
wonderful. And I just was wondering, did that idea come to you in a meditation?
Which the
idea for the
everything is that, everything is channeled. Yeah, everything. When I do meditation, I'm sitting in a place, it's channeled. The 3-day one, that's been once again about 3 years in sort of had it written. But this time it's come through a lot clearer, a lot more defined how I need to do it, and that has all been channeled once again. And I sort of know, and it's just flowing easy. I know what to talk about, how to construct it. Hence the whole 9 came. I thought, what's the 9 about? Because it's 3 sessions a day, 3 days, gets to the 9. Yeah. So it's a lot more clearer in my mind. I just need to. My big problem is, obviously, like I mentioned before, ADHD, dyslexia. So I'm in the process now of like narrowing everything in. And what I'm having to do is other projects I've got, I'm just putting to the side, write a couple of books, so they can go as hobbies and go on the side. And this has got to be my main focus now, because ADHD, that's what I need, just one focus. It's a lot more easier for me. Even though when you go in this world, it's amazing. It's just not one focus. You're seeing so many different things, connecting with so many different things. And actually, I'm sort of asking now the inner spirit, inner guides to help me focus this in. And as they say to me, we can tell you, we can show you, but you've got to do it. It's like that old message, when the guy's asking for the lottery. Oh, please God, let me win the lottery, let me win the lottery. And he says, please don't put a ticket on. I have that problem. They keep saying, we're giving you this, we're sending you this, but you've got to do it. We're not typing it for you. We're not creating the website for you. We're not doing that. We're just giving you information. You got to get that done. But the most amazing thing in this community, everyone I need is here. I've got a web designer, I've got a copywriter, I've got everything I need is in this little community. That's one of the most amazing things.
That's so wonderful.
Like even Chloe downstairs, that she's very hot on what's her name? Talk about now is Facebook.
Social media.
Social media. So she's very, very hot on social media. So I've got social media people. I've got like
wonderful
web designers. So it's all like coming together.
Yeah, I'm so
And I'm
happy for
swimming
you.
every day, kayaking. Now I've got a dog, and it's not my dog, which is good. It's a foster dog, so the
Yeah,
animals there and everything. Gypsy's lovely.
yeah,
Everything,
she
but she
really
came
is.
last night. She just laid in my lap, and I said, "Oh, I'm looking after your baby for 2 months." And she just looked at me and went, "That's okay." Yeah.
Yeah,
And Jay felt so good with that. Felt like really secure. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, totally. That's so wonderful. I'm so excited.
But the
That's
next big job is to get a lot of this online.
yeah.
And hopefully someone might be coming to help with that. We don't know yet. They're a little bit, but that might be part of the plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be their job when they arrive, to develop this
Hmm.
online. So yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to do another full full conversation with
I'll definitely
you
come
on
back in a
another
month.
episode. And yeah, like
Yeah.
definitely as soon as things are snowballing hard with you. So like that's amazing. And I'm definitely gonna have you again to talk more about what's going on with that. And of course, you're probably gonna be on tons of my episodes because I want to have you separately for the meditations and yeah, so you're definitely going to hear more from Sonna. I'm so excited to hear more about how your journey is going to keep going
What
on.
I'd like to say to everyone, get on the same train. You really need to get on the same train now. Yeah, the world's changing. My from what I've read and what I've understood over 20 years, like 3 years ago, I was at university. I was telling friends, 2020, 22, it's going to be massive. I was telling people this in 2017, 18. I've heard things and read things, and it just so happens 2020 pandemic, got war. It's just part of a transition. That's all we're going through. We're going through a transition. And it's in a transition, either you stand tall and walk, or you fall down. Yeah. And it's basically stand tall and walk and have hope. I'm just reading Everything is Fucked by Mark Manson at the moment.
Can you say that again? Oh, everything is fucked.
Everything is fucked. Yeah, Mark Manson. I'm just reading the first 3 pages, and that book has been sitting looking at me for 2 weeks. And this morning I picked it up. I'm like, oh, what's this? And just the first 2 pages answers everything, and it's all about hope.
Really?
And that's what we've got to have, hope. Yeah, definitely. So I've started that.
Already,
and it's my favourite colour as well, and it's Jay's colour.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's the same colour as Jay's.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? It's the same colour as Jay's.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So we're in this amazing transformation. We're moving from one civilization to the next civilization. Call it the age of Aquarius, whatever you want to do. But what's happening at the moment is you can see it's a lot of these guys, that masculine energy that's holding on, it's clawing, it's trying to do what it's doing, and it can't. It can't because we're going to take it somewhere else. So the more of us that stand up and go, yeah, we're on the train, going to the next evolutionary stage. We're going to be happy, we're going to be joyful. There's enough food for everyone. Climate change is a big problem for us at the moment, but it can all be reversed. Yeah. And there's always been these problems in the world. Always been these problems. Yeah, it's just that at the moment we're all just so sort of condensed with everything that's going on. Overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed with anxieties. So cure our anxieties, and then we're okay. Hence, I've just cured like all what I had going on. When I arrived there, I was a mess. I was a total mess. For 2 weeks. Gaia always talks about a month to 2 months. People heal, people thinking. So.
Wow. Yeah, that's really amazing. I can see how much meditation has changed your life, and I've been talking about it nonstop on this podcast. So I hope that that you've inspired some people to really get on the meditation train and to get to open themselves up to the world of spirituality. And I'm sure they're already open to it if they're listening to this podcast. But you're such an inspiration, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us about your story and everything.
And just believe in yourself, the most important thing. Believe in yourself. Don't believe in the organizations. Don't believe in religions. Just believe in yourself that you can make a change. Even though there's one little single person, if you start to change, the world will change. As Gandhi says, be the change you want to see. So, these words can come back. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much, Sonna. It's so lovely to see you again, and I can't wait to see you soon. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Have a good one.
Okay.
I'll talk to you soon, and I'll talk to you maybe whenever you want to do the recording of the meditation. Just let me know, and we'll figure it out.
Definitely, yeah. We'll get that worked out. I can just do it in the room. I'll Jay's just like, obviously, he might have booked his flight today. So he said I wanted to move everything in the next 2 weeks. So it's all happening pretty fast.
Awesome.
So I've just got, before he goes, he's got to write me a new sign. Chakra healing. Meditation. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to stick it on bongs with an arrow.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right then. Right.
Okay.
That was lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speak to you later.
Okay. Sounds
then.
great. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And
yeah,
you did very well. I'm wonderful.
That was
job.
a lot more relaxed today.
That was best first interview I could have asked for. Okay.
See you later.
Have a great day. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, see you soon. Bye.